Let's talk about Terra from the Teen Titans animated series. She's a really interesting character with a pretty complex story arc. When she was just a kid, she was known for being pretty strong-willed and stubborn. Growing up, she always felt kind of lost, unsure about who she really was and how she was supposed to act. It didn't help that people around her were always trying to tell her what to do and how to behave. It just made things even more confusing for her. To make matters worse, she had these incredible powers that were really hard to control. Instead of making her life easier, her unstable powers often caused trouble and made her feel like a danger to those around her. This really took a toll on her self-confidence. Before she became a Titan, it was pretty clear that Terra struggled to keep her emotions and powers in check. On the outside, she tried to act confident and put together, but deep down she was absolutely terrified that people would find out just how unstable she was. It wasn't until she met Slade that things started to change. He understood her struggles and helped her learn how to control her powers, giving her the support she desperately needed. Among the Titans, Terra is definitely closest to Beast Boy. He feels like he understands her the most, and he's always there to support her through whatever she's going through. In the beginning, Terra gets along great with everyone on the team, well, except for Raven, but we'll get to that. Later on, Raven starts to respect her too, so it all works out. When Terra comes back to the team, it's clear she's gained a whole lot more control over her incredible Earth-manipulating powers. It's really impressive to see how much she's grown. On another note, she has shown that she can be a bit manipulative at times, like that one instance when she pretended to cry, just so the Titans would let her join their crew. It makes you wonder if she might have picked up that kind of behavior from her time with Slade. As we get to know her better, we start to see that she's got some serious issues going on. Her actions and reactions seem to align with something called borderline personality disorder. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, it includes things like, she tends to have these really intense emotional reactions that don't always fit the situation. For example, when the Titans try to give her some constructive criticism about her powers, she takes it super hard, even though they're just trying to help. She acts impulsively, doing things without really thinking them through. In fact, Raven often has to step in and stop her from making reckless decisions when faced with a challenge. Her relationships with others are pretty unstable. She might go from absolutely adoring someone to hating their guts in the blink of an eye. It's clear that she's dealing with some heavy stuff, and these traits are making it tough for her to maintain healthy relationships and cope with the challenges she faces. Terra's got this major hang-up about people blaming her for things going wrong, even when she's not actually at fault. And you know what? That fear is totally justified, because she's been unfairly blamed for stuff in the past. But the problem is, this paranoia ends up being the root cause of her whole villain arc. When she gets the idea that Beast Boy has betrayed her, which by the way is just a big misunderstanding because Robin accidentally discovered her secret, she makes the choice to team up with Slade. Then, on her own free will, she decides to repay her debt to Slade by sneaking into the Teen Titans and betraying them. In fact, at the start of Aftershock Part 2, she straight up says in a voiceover that she doesn't feel any guilt or remorse for betraying her former friends or for seemingly taking them out. But then, when they come back and treat her like the major supervillain she's become, she gets all upset about it, as if she didn't bring it on herself. But by the end of Aftershock Part 2, we see a turning point for her. After Beast Boy confronts her about her actions, she finally steps up and takes responsibility for her mistakes. In a pretty intense moment, she stops a massive earthquake that her powers triggered, but in doing so, she turns herself into stone. It's a powerful scene that shows us that even though Terra has made some serious mistakes, she's ultimately capable of owning up to them and doing what's right. According to her brother Geo-Force, she was actually a princess. She and Geo-Force were part of the Markov royal family. Their dad was the king of Markovia. But things took a dark turn when scientists experimented on them, giving them their powers and then trying to take advantage of them. There's this guy named General Immortus who was watching the experiment, so it looks like he had a hand in it too. Geo-Force managed to fight off the bad guys, but Terra was having a hard time controlling her powers and was terrified of hurting her loved ones. So, she ran away from home and had been traveling around ever since. Slade points out that Terra did try to use her earth-moving abilities to help people along the way, but because she didn't have a lot of experience with her powers, things often went wrong and ended up even worse. All these accidental disasters really frustrated her, and she ended up taking out some of that frustration on Robin when she yelled at him that she didn't need rescuing and wasn't some sad little girl.